It's another day, it's another life, and it's another learning with fun. Let us do a wonderful and magical day. But before that, let me greet you first. Hello and good day everyone. I am Shane Estribor from ED 1B and welcome to my presentation. In this video, I will provide to you an overview of Tolman'S theory of purposive behaviorism. Before we proceed to our proper discussion, I will give you a quick and short background about Edward Tolman. Edward Chase Tolman was born on April 14, 1886 in West Newton, Massachusetts, US. He was known as an American psychologist who developed a system of psychology known as the Purposive Behaviorism, which attempts to explore the interaction of the total organism. Edward Tolman, Psychology Comparing Animals to Humans. Tolman's purposive behaviorism has also been referred to as sign learning theory and is often seen as the link between behaviorism and cognitive theory. Tolman's theory was founded on two psychological views of the Gestalt theory and those of John Watson, the behavior theory. Tolman's believed that animals were acquiring knowledge about their surroundings he called cognition. Tolman's theory of learning is known by several names such as sign significance theory, expectancy theory, purposive behaviorism, or simple sign theory. And now, let's talk about the 6 Tolman's K concept. First is goal-directedness. Next, cognitive maps. Third is latent learning, followed by intervening variables. Fifth is reward expectancy. And lastly, the place learning versus response learning. And now, let's discuss about the first Tolman's K concepts, which is the goal-directedness. Tolman asserted that learning is always purposive and goal-directed. He held the notion that an organism acted or responded for some adaptive purpose. He believes individuals do more than merely respond to stimuli. They act on beliefs, attitudes, changing conditions, and they strive toward goals. Here are some examples of goal-directed behavior, like deciding where to take your summer holiday, choosing to come to this lecture, choosing what to have for your lunch at the canteen, and gear shift together with pedal control like learning to drive. Next is the second K concepts, which is cognitive maps. This is tendency to learn location. In this famous experiment, including rats' mazes, he found out that organisms will select the shortest or easiest path to achieve a goal. This signified that somehow rats form cognitive maps that help them perform well on the maze. For example, applied in human being, I will use concept maps when I am teaching for my students to have a better learning experiences, and students can easily learn if one concept relates to another concept. The third one is latent learning. Latent literally means hidden, and latent learning is learning that becomes obvious only once a reinforcement is given for demonstrating it. Latent learning is a kind of learning that remains or stays with the individual until needed. It is learning that is not outwardly manifested at once. According to Tolman's, it can exist even without reinforcement. He demonstrated this in his rat experiment, wherein rats apparently learned the maze by forming cognitive maps of the maze, but manifested this knowledge of the maze when they needed to. For example, applied in human being, I will use some strategy to prolong the knowledge to my students so they can retrieve it whenever they need to. And as the sayings say, tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. Followed by the fourth Tolman'S K concepts, which is intervening variables. Intervening variables are variables that are not readily seen but serve as determinants of behavior. Tolman'S believe that learning is mediated or is influenced by expectation, perceptions, representations, needs, and other internal or environmental variables. Example, in his experiments with rats, he found out that hunger was intervening variable. For example, applied in human being, I will equalize or fair the reward and punishment system in my room for my students to be more disciplined and motivated to have higher grades. And the fifth one is reward expectancy. We'll learn to expect or gain something as a result of our efforts. We expect a reward as a result of our performance. Not getting or getting less than expected reward may lead to disruption of behavior involving frustration. The organism has a selected preference for the principle of least effort for arriving at the goal. We select the shortest possible route to achieve the goal. And the last Tolman'S K concept is place learning versus response learning. Individual does not learn specific responses to specific stimuli as mentioned by S&R theorists, but tries to learn about the places where things actually lie. We learn about the overall path by visualizing a total picture of the environment. As per the need of the environment, we change our movements. In conclusion, purposive behaviorism is the branch of psychology that combines of object study of behavior while considering the purpose of our goal of behavior. In all forms of learning, depend upon means and readiness. If you are goal-oriented, mediated by expectations, perceptions, representations, and other internal or environmental variables. And that's all for today's video. Thank you for listening and God bless.